best practices that we've discovered with our clients. Again, there's a lot of best practices here, so we're going to go through these as fast as I can, but again, afterwards, we can get this information to everybody that's on the call so you can have those as well. So first of all, one is keep our content updated. Now, is this updated due to new ways it can be used during COVID? Is it relevant anymore with COVID? Or is it even more relevant because of COVID? So again, what does that updated information look like? Also, we want to make sure that that content is relevant. And when we talk about that, relevant to the user. Again, establish those necessary rules to make sure that that content gets in front of that user when that time is needed. Again, hopefully, maybe you can do this with your back office provider or maybe internally. But if not, of course, that's what Rallyware is here for, and we can help you through that process. Also, make sure that we can engage with different types of content. If it's the same content all the time and the same type of content, is it a video? Is it a PDF? Let's change these things around a little bit. Make sure we have some video, make sure we have some copy. Can we put in surveys? Can we put in polls? Let's get some information back from the field. Again, as we can see on the next one, collecting feedback is so critical. And then we can use that feedback to set up new paths, but also use that feedback for our own internal information as well. So best practices there. And then again, go back to segmentation, smart segmentation. This is, if you can do this on your own, great, very excited. This is one of the things that Rallyware really does focus on. It's this ability to help people become a part of that segmentation that is relevant to them, whether, again, it's self-guided through surveys and polls that I put myself in that group, or based on the activity in which is happening. Maybe one person comes in and says, hey, look, I only want to be a consumer, but in the next 7 days, they've sold $1,000 and they've enrolled 3 other people. Their business activity does not show what segmentation they truly are. So the system itself has to be smart enough to grab that individual and put them in the right segmentation so that they've got the right activities and the right knowledge and the right processes to help carry them through to be successful. And again, going back to that, when we get into this, we have to understand that content has to be generated for each one of those segments. Now, can it be created generally and then applied at different times in each one of those segments to be relevant to that user? Absolutely. But again, the thought process here is that if I'm a leader and we're truly only focusing on onboarding, am I likely to support the field with that thought process? Yes, if we bring them up to speed on that, but generally speaking, that content's not relevant to them. So are we going to be facing a challenge with those leaders on that front? Also, again, distributors and the field join for different reasons, like we saw originally. That segmentation is so important to ensure that we give them the right content to help them through this overall process. And then gamification, it's a very important part. As we know, it's direct selling. We're kind of the masters of gamification. But how can we bring this in? How can we use points? How can we use badges? How can we bring together incentives and recognition, which is an established part of our industry, into the day-to-day activities? Help guide them to get to those big prizes or small prizes, instead of them just trying to figure out how do they get there themselves, or relying on their leaders to kind of help coach them through that process. We've got some great leaders out there, but we also know we've got some leaders out there that aren't the best. So again, let's think through this: gamification, badges, points, leaderboards, friendly competition, all that great stuff. And then again, be able to segment some of that gamification to the relevant people, maybe just inside of my team, or just inside of a specific region or one country, or maybe even just around a sale of a specific product. Again, we need to have the flexibility to be able to do that. And then make sure our leaders know what's happening so that they can best support. So again, going back, that data is so important. If we know they can get to 25 activities, we know we can see a 300% increase in sales versus say before that training. So we need to share this information with leaders so that we can get the leader involvement. That's not anything new, something that we're challenged with all the time. So how can we best support that? And then last two elements here is about the experience, kind of the seamless experience, unified visual experience for all of our users across all of our platforms. I know this is something that everyone is always striving for. And as we do that, we just keep striving and making that better. And as more data starts to come together, those experiences, of course, start to come together as well. And then ultimately ending on this mindset of mobile first. And again, it's very important for us to realize mobile first doesn't always mean mobile app. In developing countries, globally, sometimes mobile app is not actually the best because maybe that local device can't support the app itself. So there's a lot of different things we need to look at there, but mobile first is critical, is key. Of course, it's not anything new, but let's make sure that we're taking into the mindset of what does mobile first as a whole look like.